Hey everyone, I want to talk to you about the loneliest place on Earth. It's not a desert or a remote island. It's sitting on the same couch as your spouse, 3 feet away, and feeling like there's a 1,000-mile canyon between you. We didn't have a big problem. There was no affair, no addiction, no huge blow-up. We just drifted. We became roommates with a mortgage. We were excellent at co-parenting and great at managing a schedule, but the love, the intimacy, that had been replaced by a cold, polite silence that was slowly killing us both. A year ago, I was looking at divorce lawyers on my phone while my wife slept in the other room. I was convinced we had just run out of love. But I discovered that love isn't something you run out of. It's something you choose to cover. If your marriage feels like it's on life support, or if you're just tired of the constant tit-for-tat scorekeeping, this story is for you. Because there is a specific kind of love that can bridge any canyon. The drift happens in the small things. It's the sarcastic comment when they're late. It's the way she sighs when I forget to do the dishes. It's the way I prioritize my hobbies over her day. We started keeping a mental ledger. I'd think, I worked 10 hours today, so I shouldn't have to change the diaper. She'd think, I've been with the kids all day, so he should be the one to cook. We became auditors of each other's failures. Every mistake was a brick, and over 10 years, we had built a wall so high we couldn't see each other's hearts anymore. We were Christian, but our home didn't feel like Christ was there. It felt like a courtroom where we were both the prosecutor and the defendant. I was waiting for her to change, and she was waiting for me to apologize. We were stuck in a standoff, and the casualty was our marriage. The breaking point was a Friday night. We were arguing about something insignificant, probably where to eat or a forgotten bill. And for the first time, she looked at me and said, I don't even care enough to be angry anymore. That sentence terrified me. Anger has energy. Indifference is a grave. I realized that we were done. We had broken each other. I went for a drive, my hands shaking on the steering wheel, and I asked God a dangerous question. Is this it? Did you bring us together just for us to fail? Is there any way back from this much resentment? I realized that I had been praying for God to fix her. I wanted God to show her how much she was hurting me. I never asked God to show me how I was failing her. I was so focused on the speck in her eye that I was totally blind to the log in mine. I felt a deep prompting to open the Bible to a verse I usually skipped because it sounded too simple. I read 1 Peter 4:8. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. I had always misunderstood that verse. I thought covering meant hiding or ignoring. But the word deeply in Greek is ektenes, which means stretched, like a rubber band being pulled to its limit. I realized that my love for my wife was shallow. It only worked when she was being nice, when she was meeting my needs, and when she was winning in my ledger. But God was calling me to a stretched love, a love that sees the sin, sees the flaw, sees the irritation, and chooses to cover it with grace anyway. Love covering sin isn't about being a doormat. It's about deciding that the relationship is more important than the score. I realized I had been exposing her flaws to win arguments rather than covering them to win her heart. I went home that night and did something I hadn't done in years. I didn't defend myself. I didn't bring up her mistakes. I just sat at the end of the bed and said, I have been keeping a ledger of everything you've done wrong, and I am so sorry. I've been trying to change you instead of loving you. Will you forgive me? It didn't fix everything in 5 minutes. There were tears and some very hard conversations, but the walls started to come down. We made a covenant of the cover. We decided that when the other person messes up, and they will, our first instinct wouldn't be to audit, but to cover. I started choosing to see her through the lens of grace. When she was stressed, I covered it with patience. When I was selfish, she covered it with forgiveness. We stopped being roommates and started being partners again. We realized that intimacy isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of grace within the conflict. If you are in that silent canyon today, if you feel like the love is just gone, I want to challenge you. Stop looking for the exit and start looking for the cover. Your spouse is not your enemy. They are a fellow traveler who is just as broken as you are. Don't wait for them to make the first move. Stretch your love. Choose to cover the multitude of sins with the same grace that God uses to cover yours. Marriage isn't a 50-50 contract. It's a 100-100 covenant where both people are constantly trying to outgrace the other.
It's hard work, and it requires a strength you don't have on your own, but it's worth it.
Thanks for watching. Here are today's reflection questions. What's one thing on your mental ledger that you've been holding against your spouse or someone close to you? And what would it look like to choose to cover it with grace instead of exposing it? When was the last time you stretched your love beyond what felt comfortable or fair? And what happened when you did? Drop your thoughts about the story in the comments below. Your experience might encourage someone else facing the same choice. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories about choosing love when it's hardest.